Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought it'd be fun to talk about 5 brands that have never let me down. So this is a very rare thing when it comes to makeup. Most of the time, even some of my favorite brands have products that I'm not too crazy about. For example, with Milani, I love so many of their products, but their foundation doesn't really work out for me, as well as some of their mascaras. I just really wasn't a fan of. Same thing when it comes to ColourPop. Absolutely love their eyeshadow palettes, their blushes, Super Shock shadows, but I'm not a fan of some of their lip products. They're a little bit too drying, and some of their complexion products didn't work out for me either. But that's not to say that I still don't love those brands overall. But the brands I'm going to talk about today are ones that really every single product I've tried from them has been a hit. Now, I haven't tried every single product from these brands, so there could still be some out there that maybe I didn't get along with, but I would say overwhelmingly, these are brands that are fantastic. And when I was looking at the list of these 5 brands too, I realized that they're all indie brands, and that may have something to do with it because oftentimes indie brands are more quality over quantity. They're not focused on pumping out tons and tons of new releases. So I think they really take their time and make sure that their products are high quality. So that could be another part of it. Or I've just been very lucky with these brands, and overall their products really get along with my skin type, my skin tone, etc. So you may agree with me when it comes to this video, or you may have had bad experiences with these companies. So I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's go ahead though and dive into brand number 1, and that is Persona. So Persona does not really have a ton of products out there. They have a pretty limited range for the most part, and they only release products every so often. But when they do, I always get really excited because they're always super high quality. Starting with their Identity palette, and then the Identity 2 came out. They have those little 5-pan palettes as well, and I think they're just wonderful. Their eyeshadow formula is one of the absolute best. I think it's so velvety. It performs so well on the eyes, and the color stories are just so beautiful. I especially love the original Identity palette. I think that one is definitely my number 1 out of all of them, although they're all really pretty. Another thing from Persona that I am obsessed with are their blushes. I can't wait for them to release more shades of these because they are so gorgeous. I'm actually wearing the Georgia blush today, and it's just the prettiest peachy blush, and the formula again is fantastic. So really enjoy these. I also really love their highlighters, even though again I'm not a highlighter person. If you are, the formula is to die for. They are so buttery and creamy, and they are long lasting, and they're really smooth, and the colors that they come in are really beautiful too. And then last but not least, they have their lip products. Their season 1 lip gloss is another favorite of mine. It has a really beautiful, kind of almost like a lip oil lip gloss hybrid, where it's really smooth and super hydrating on your lips, but it also has a lot of shine. And I also love the colors that they chose too. You can really tell that they took the time to pick colors that would be just super flattering. So overall, I can honestly say that Persona has not let me down so far. Another brand that I love everything I try from is Zoeva. Now, Zoeva is a brand that thankfully is now at Ulta. I used to have to order their products from Germany, so I didn't really try them out that often just because it's a little bit more of a hassle to get them here to the United States. But now that they're at Ulta, I have gotten so many things. And starting with their eyeshadow palettes, I adore their eyeshadow palettes. I think they are so beautiful, and even if some of them look kind of boring in the pan, they have usually like a surprise or two in them where there's a shade that kind of swatches way differently than you would expect it to, that just looks more dimensional, more interesting. They have really beautiful duochrome effects in a lot of them, and the formula of the eyeshadows themselves is just really fantastic. Their mattes are super blendable, and the shimmer shades can range from being very foiled and very metallic, and sometimes they're a little bit more on the smooth side, kind of similar to Loraque's old shimmer shades. So I think there's just such a great variety of their eyeshadow palettes. Another thing I'm obsessed with from Zoeva is their Authentic Skin foundation. This is definitely my number 1 foundation. It's the one that I wear almost every single day. I'm actually wearing it today, and this is the most skin-like foundation I have in my entire collection. It has this beautiful satiny finish that really looks just like your skin. It's not too glowy and dewy, and it's not too matte or flat, and it just lays so smoothly on my skin. It doesn't cling to dry patches. It doesn't sink or settle into fine lines and pores. It's just the most beautiful finish, and it's also at a really good price. It's $28, which I think is very reasonable since a lot of high-end foundations are more like around the $40 mark. And honestly, drugstore foundations these days can range from 15 to 20 bucks. So I think 28 is really reasonable for such a fantastic formula. Plus at Ulta, you can always use coupons and things like that. Another thing I have to rave about from Zoeva is their brushes. I think these are so worth it. They're a little bit more of an investment, but they're not completely crazy or out of reach either. And I kind of started collecting them slowly, like one at a time. Then I ended up buying a kit and I just fell in love with them. So I feel like they're definitely worth the money. And pretty much everybody I've talked to that's ever tried Zoeva's brushes feels the same way. I did used to start out with BH Cosmetics brushes and Morphe brushes, and they're good. I think they're good quality for the price. But once I tried Zoeva's brushes, I realized they're just on a whole nother level. They don't shed little hairs all over the place, and they just do such a great job at blending. I feel like my eyeshadow has gotten better since using them, so I really recommend Zoeva's brushes. Another category that's amazing from Zoeva is their face products. So their blushes, bronzers, highlighters are all really beautiful. I'm wearing the Share Light bronzer in 0.1 all over my face today. It's a gorgeous bronzer. It does have a little bit of highlighter over here. I usually kind of stay away from that side, but it's the most gorgeous satin bronzer and a beautiful shade for my skin tone. I also really enjoy their blush palette in Coral Spectrum. I think it's gorgeous. They also have really cute face duos with a blush and highlighter. So those are fantastic and just very smooth and easy to apply as well. So Zoeva is another brand that pretty much everything I try from them is a hit. Next up, I could not make a video like this without talking about Sydney Grace, because Sydney Grace is another brand that has just wowed me with every product that I've purchased from them. So I discovered them earlier this year and I'm so mad that I slept on them for so long, and I highly recommend checking them out if you get the chance, because literally every product has been fantastic. I haven't tried everything, but the things I have tried have completely wowed me, starting with their eyeshadows. I started with their Enduring Love palette and was so blown away by the formula of how just blendable the mattes are, and the shimmers are what really set them apart, I think, because they just have that wet look on your eyes where it's just so glowy and so beautiful, but at the same time doesn't make my eyes look more textured. I don't know how they do it. They're very smooth, but at the same time really metallic. And once I moved on from that, I ended up getting the Tiny Marvels palette and a ton of their eyeshadow singles, which I think are just so beautiful. They have such a huge range of them. So I've been having a lot of fun collecting those as well. Their pressed powder blushes, which I also have, are amazing as well. I have them kind of in a large palette with the eyeshadows. And that formula is so beautiful, so blendable, and all the colors are just so flattering and so fantastic. And then their lip products are equally as fabulous. Their lip creams, which I'm actually wearing one today in the shade Beverly, are the most beautiful gloss liquid lipstick hybrid. They have so much pigmentation to them that they actually go on like a liquid lipstick, but they're so comfortable. They're not sticky at all, even though they look like a gloss. They just feel so smooth and buttery. So this is another product that I've been loving. I don't get to wear them as often because of the mask situation. So I pretty much just wear these now like when I'm on YouTube, but I fell in love with these. They're actually so hydrating. They feel like a lip balm. So overall, the hype is definitely real with Sydney Grace, and I can't wait to see what they come up with next. Another brand I don't hear all that much about, but I think they have fabulous products, is Collido's makeups. I started out with their eyeshadow palettes. They have some beautiful 6-pan palettes. They also have started to come out with larger ones as well. Their eyeshadow formula definitely wowed me. The mattes have this really velvety, rich kind of feel where they're not that ultra blendable, powdery type of texture, but at the same time, they're not too pigmented where you have to spend so much time trying to blend them out. They really are the perfect balance. And then the shimmer shades are also super gorgeous. Even their toppers, I feel like, are more pigmented than other brands' toppers. Even like the palette that I'm wearing on my eyes today, it's their Futurism 7 palette. This one has a topper in it right here, which is this kind of yellowy duochrome, and that's the one that I'm wearing on my lid. And I'm just wearing that. I didn't actually have to use it as a topper. I mean, it functions like a regular shimmer shade. And the reason that I even say it's a topper is because it kind of has that feel. When you pick it up, it doesn't look super pigmented in a swatch, but oh my gosh, when you pack it on your lid, it is so beautiful. So I just have so much fun with their eyeshadow palettes. I think their packaging is to die for as well. And then their face products are beautiful as well. well. They have blushes that they just came out with recently, as well as their highlighters, and their Space Age highlighters have these beautiful duochrome effects to them. So if you like something that's a little bit less traditional when it comes to a highlight, definitely check these out. They have these gorgeous ones that shift from like green to purple to blue. They're just out of this world beautiful. Even though they're not really my style, I can definitely appreciate how gorgeous they are, and the formula again is fantastic. They also have really beautiful lip products. They have these lip stains that are not drying, so they feel really nice on your lips. You don't end up with something that's going to crack or look horrible after a couple of hours. So overall, even though their range is not huge yet, they're coming out with new products all the time, and everything is so impressive. I'd love to see them do some complexion products like foundation or concealer or even a mascara. I think that would be awesome. And then last but definitely not least is Nabla. Nabla is another brand that literally every product I've tried from them has been so gorgeous and so high quality. Again, starting with their eyeshadow palettes, not only are the color stories the most gorgeous thing ever, but their formula is beautiful. It reminds me a lot of the Collido one, where they just feel super velvety, really, really pigmented, but not hard to blend out. And I find that I get just gorgeous looks with these palettes every single time. They kind of make me feel more like a pro because they're just so easy to work with and just so pigmented that I feel like I don't have to work super hard to get really nice looks out of them. And they just put together some of the most beautiful color stories. Every single palette that comes out, I want it, even if I feel like I have similar colors in my collection already, because of just like the combination of things that they choose is just so gorgeous. And their packaging also kind of sucks me in at the same time. Also fantastic from Nabla are their face powders, their bronzers, and their highlighters, which are called skin glazing. Now the skin glazing ones, some of them look like highlighters and then some of them look more like blushes, and none of them are over the top. They really just give a beautiful sheen to your cheeks without being glittery or too crazy. So out of all my highlighters, this is one of my favorite formulas because of just how smooth they look on the cheeks, and they just give you this really beautiful glow. The ones that look more like blushes are definitely my favorites because I just use it as a blush, and then it kind of looks like I'm wearing highlighter, but I don't have to add another layer of powder to my face. And again, they're just so smooth. They just really add a little glow to your face, which is something that I love. The same thing goes for their skin bronzing powders as well. These have kind of a satiny finish, so they're not glowy, but they're not flat matte, and these are also just the most incredibly smooth powder. They almost feel like a baked formula. I'm not sure 100% if they are, but they could be based on how they feel and apply, and these come in so many beautiful colors. Another category that Nabla does really well are lip products. The Dreamy Creamy lipsticks are fantastic. They're like a liquid lipstick that doesn't dry down all the way, so they stay really comfortable. Also, their Shine Theory lip glosses have this really beautiful kind of multi-dimensional look. They make your lips look a little bit plumper and juicier. And then we have the Glam Touch lipsticks, which are bullet lipsticks, which kind of have like a semi-matte finish where they don't completely look flat and dry, but they're also not like a creamy lipstick either, or I shouldn't say creamy because they do feel creamy. They're not like a dewy or shiny lipstick. So they're just that perfect in between. I guess you could call it like a satin finish, but again, just a beautiful formula and gorgeous colors. And then last but not least, I also really love their Major Pleasure mascara. I've owned 3 tubes of it now, and it gives me such great length and volume. It kind of in a way reminds me of Too Faced Better Than Sex, but this one doesn't smudge underneath my eyes like that one does, and it just gives me kind of that false lash look. So really love that formula as well. So anyway, guys, those are my 5 brands that have never let me down. I'd love to hear what your favorite brands are down in the comments below. Also, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it as always. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet on my channel, go ahead and do that so you don't miss out on any future videos. Thanks guys, and I will see you all in my next one. Take care. Bye.